What is going on, gentlemen? Welcome back. More work on Valley America. I'll get around to working the Hershey 2020 project probably this weekend, but also probably not this weekend. I will be slammed with work and other adult things. Hey, if you like this content, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Look at how candid and casual that was. Not at all, actually, but we did get about 20 subscribers within the past week because of this project, and I think I might have hit somewhat of a jackpot. Not like, the Mega Million jackpot, but it's where you go get a scratch off and you get $20, so you get about $18 back. I feel like that's the most appropriate analogy I could think of, but yes, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I noticed that when I comment down in the comment section and pin it and make a little discussion, I apologize for the cough, but not really. I am human. Go fuck yourself. It creates a little conversation, and that's always a lot of fun. I really did like getting some of your guys' feedback on the trees, of all things, to talk about on the internet. We talked about foliage, which is totally cool. It's right up my alley. I mean, when it comes to foliage, I think that's what makes or breaks an amusement park. So I really did appreciate the feedback on that. I think I found a happy medium with that without it being too invasive, but I'll go over that once we get to that little part of the park. Doing some backstage work, building these are going to act as office buildings and warehouses and stuff like that. If you're familiar with how theme parks operate, that's kind of what they got behind those tall fences. Fencing, nothing but fences. Behind those fences, they do have a lot of backstage, buildings and employment centers and offices and shit like that, where the businessy side of running a theme park property is dealt with. So did that, got to detail them and stuff like that, but I'll probably just do that off camera because that isn't the most glamorous work ever. And I want to show you guys the good stuff, the cool stuff. I actually got some more work done off camera with this project, and I think I'll go over that in just a normal overview video, probably here, maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow, depending on when and how much work I can get done with the other side of this International Street area. I did start a building over there, but I'm not entirely sold on it just yet. Got to work out some finer details and, et cetera, et cetera. Started running the chaser lights up and down the, buildings and stuff like that. I'm sorry if I sound a little out of it. I'm just exhausted, and it's really weird. I'll have these random bursts of energy, and I'll be like, fuck, I wish I was recording the commentary right now, because it would make for some interesting topics of discussion. But it tends to be when I'm a little bit more energized, I go off the rails and I say something maybe a little controversial and shit like that. But that's just one of my traits. It's what makes me me. But I really do like how these chaser lights turned out. It's very King's Dominion-esque, if I'm going to be saying that a lot when it comes to this park. I originally wanted to start it out as again, I apologize for the cough. I got something lodged in my throat, and then I know when my buddy's watching this, it's like, oh, it's probably a dick, bro. Whatever. It's really fucking funny. Yeah, ha ha ha. But, so I kind of have an idea for what this park's beef is, like what the beef with this park is. And upon looking over more, upgraded recent Cedar Fair front entrances and properties, like Carowinds, Cedar Point, and all that stuff, it's a little bit more modern than what we got going here. This one is a little bit more brick and shit like that, but it gels well with and kind of segues into this International Street area very well, I guess, So I guess you could say the running story or concept behind this property is that it was one of the first to get the upgrade from the really gross, mid-70s kind of stucco castle-looking entrances like you still see at King's Dominion. My boy Matt. Sorry, Matt is the CEO of Cedar Fair. If you're listening to this, because I know you are, really get your shit straight, allocate some capital towards the Doswell property, because I would love an upgraded front entrance. I'm very, very sick of what we got now, but I do appreciate the money in the RMC, so can't complain too much. But the idea is that I guess it was one of the first properties to be upgraded with the more modern entrance, and that is what came of it. It flows well into this International Street area where it's just a lot of brick and, concrete and stucco and shit like that. So it sticks, it stays. But one thing I am noticing as I'm filling in this park more is that it's a lot smaller. The Kings Island International Street and the Kings Dominion International Streets are a little bit longer, I guess, and this one's a little bit shorter, but I'm kind of okay with it. I want this to be a more scaled down project. I'm not going to do anything crazy like massive big coasters. I kind of got I think part of the reason Appalachian Adventure is shelved right now is because it was just a little bit too ambitious. I mean, there's a lot of cool work in there that I'm fairly proud of, but it was just a little too ambitious. I think I bit off more than I can chew. I'll definitely go back and revisit that at some point and probably do a lot of upgraded things and more scaled buildings and realistic pathing, stuff like that. But for now, Appalachian Adventure and working the Hershey 2020 project. That's going to probably be sometime next week. I'll get the third episode out for that just because it's a lot more work. I really do try to make it look nice and polished and stuff, grabbing footage of the ride operating and, with the soundtrack. I got to write and record something a little bit more upbeat instead of the sad boy hours that we had in the first one. But, yeah, so what we're doing right here is we're doing some scaffolding and lighting work along the International Street. And I think this turned out all right. I think it was the colorable area lights that I went with because they light up the buildings enough but not too much to make it invasive and overpower or kind of overshadow, I guess, the chaser lights and the more subtle lighting I wanted to do on that. And then we just fill in with some picnic tables with awnings and stuff like that, just like you would see along the International Street at Kings Dominion or Kings Island, I guess. Duh. But, and I didn't mention it, but what you saw at the beginning of the video was I scaled down the Eiffel Tower a little bit and took out, I noticed a lot of pieces were double stacked. A lot of the posts were double stacked, so I had to delete out a lot of those just to save pieces and make it more practical, along with kind of scaling it down a little bit. I compared that. I built a 300-foot coaster, spoiler alert, just to kind of see how tall that Eiffel Tower was originally, and it was a little too tall. I wanted to scale it down because I thought it was too big for the length of this International Street and the kind of scale of the whole project so far. So I think it sits around 250 now, which is okay, but yes. So I went ahead and added some signage here and stuff. This is theoretically a Starbucks, just like you would find at Kings Dominion. I got very unoriginal with that. But the trees, here's what I was getting at earlier, is that this is about the happy medium. I didn't go with the humongous Brazilian nut trees. I did one at the end of the International Street just for the, honestly, for the fuck of it. But I went with the sycamore trees, and actually, that's not a sycamore. I don't know the nitty-gritty details. I'm not too concerned about it. But I think this is a happy medium. We keep these cypress trees running along the right side in front of the buildings, and then these trees are in the planters closer to the lake. So you kind of get the shade and the ambience and the foliage and the more natural kind of look. This is actually really neat. This is a view you would exactly get at Kings Dominion with the trees because they got a lot of big trees along there in International Street. I feel like I'm talking about trees way too much in this episode, but that was the main focal point of the last video. So sorry, not sorry. But I'm happy with how it turned out and stuff. It's invasive, but not too invasive. And from the other side of the International Street, you can still see the buildings, and it just looks nice. It looks very quaint. It ties everything together very well. So I'm happy with how that turned out. Again, more signage. Theoretically, these are gift shops and stuff like that. Went ahead and just called that just a memento, which is the in-game gift shop. But I was feeling a little uninspired when I did that. Went ahead and put these aircon units on top of the roof just to kind of add to a sense of realism. I got to doll up the backstage areas here, with trash bins and other miscellaneous crap like that. And I think I'm probably going to work on detailing the parking lot and where cars would go and, building parking spaces and shit like that just to make it a little bit more realistic. But, yeah, this is looking very complete, and I'm very happy with how it's turning out, to be honest with you. It looks good. It's cool. It's neat. I'm happy. So, and you can see I did some work on some buildings over on the other side of the International Street. I'm not entirely done with those yet, not sold on them just yet, so I do need to work those a little bit. I'll probably just do that off camera because that was a lot of trial and error. I couldn't sleep like 2 nights ago, and it was like 4 in the morning. So I was just working on that from like 4 until 6, which is just a god awful sleep schedule. But here it is at night. I think the lighting's good. I don't think I need to do any more lighting work over here. I might tone down the kind of spotlights on the scaffolding there just because they're a little bit too fluorescent for my liking. Might go with some, red, white, and blue lighting just to kind of add to the whole America theme of the park. But I'll just toy around with that and I'll figure it out. This is cool though. I love how the chaser lights reflect off the water. I just think that looks so sick. Like I was watching an old documentary, Kennywood Memories, the other night, and there was a shot where the carousel was reflecting off the water, and it looked just like that, and I was like, that's fucking dope. Like, I just thought that was so cool. But, yeah, not a whole lot to show, but just, I think this is more or less the complete right side of the International Street. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I'm going to try and get more building done and put out a more kind of beefy time-lapse for this project sometime this weekend or Monday, so be on the lookout for that. Again, like, comment, subscribe if you're new. I really do appreciate the growth and you guys taking time out of your busy, important days to listen to me babble about this shit. I really do appreciate you guys. Have a great day. I really got nothing else to say, and, peace out.